Yeah, ain't no party. Cashavelli music. So they don't know. Chain gang mob squad.
AG.
Ain't no party like a Cashavelli party, and the Cashavelli party don't stop. Always bitches out here twerking, and all my niggas throwing guap. Ain't no party like a Cashavelli party, and the Cashavelli party don't stop. All these bitches out here twerking, and all my ain't no party like a Cashavelli party, and the Cashavelli party don't stop. All these bitches out here twerking, and all my niggas throwing guap. Ain't no party like a Cashavelli party, and the Cashavelli party don't stop. All these bitches out here twerking, and all my niggas throwing guap. Hey, Mr. DJ, put my record on. Bump that shit to the max, cause you know it's her favorite song. And I'ma throw this money, cause you know my money long. Get ass up in them jeans, girl, you can't do no wrong. Now the party getting started cause notes arrived. Baby told me upstairs I got a surprise. Fuck with the best, fuck them other guys. And forget about your man and cut them ties. Yeah, yeah. Ain't no party like a Cashavelli party, and the Cashavelli party don't stop. Always bitches out here twerking, and all my niggas throwing guap. Ain't no party like a Cashavelli party, and the Cashavelli party don't stop. All these bitches out here twerking, and all my ain't no party like a Cashavelli party, and the Cashavelli party don't stop. All these bitches out here twerking, and all my niggas throwing guap. Ain't no party like a Cashavelli party, and the Cashavelli party don't stop. All these bitches out here twerking, and all my niggas throwing guap.
AG.
Party.
Delia.
What up, it's Yo Cashavelli. My name is Chris Cash.
Myself, DJ GKid.
Sidewayz Mack 2 times. Hello.
Remember, we are streaming live 24/7 on Cashavelli TV. Where is Cashavelli TV, you ask? On Cashavelli.com.
Okay. Tap in.
We are inside the top 3, where we go over the 3 top records of the week.
Number 3. We got number 3.
Let's just go on to number 3.
No, I'm saying.
Huh?
We got that number 3.
Oh, you gonna go to number 3? Or you got something to say?
We got that.
Let's just go on to number 3. Number 3.
We got a long show. We got a long ass show.
Number 3
How long?
is Fetty. A new addition to the countdown by Sidewayz Mack and Chris Cash. And also big shout out to Sin City Movement who came out.
Oh yeah, they
and
came
kept
through.
it moving.
They came through and did the stuff, man. Got really cracking, man.
Yeah.
You already know. Food Stamp came through. Did the live interview, man.
Oh.
Check us out with Mud Talk later on. And we want to thank y'all for liking, subscribing, and sharing. You know what I'm saying? And staying tuned. Yeah. 24 hours around the clock.
Yeah.
Cashavelli.
And you said
this is your TV right
yeah,
now.
and you said Mug Talk, but we have a new addition to the Mug Talk. It's called Side Talk.
Side Talk
by Sidewayz Mack.
Oh yeah. You know,
You been smoking,
yeah. I'm gonna let y'all tell them. You know, I can't give them everything.
You right.
You know,
Absolutely right. All right, number 3, Fetty.
Fetty.
Yes.
Get it poppin'.
Let's go.
All right.
Play that shit on TNT.
Cashavelli music.
Ill will make the beat bounce.
Yeah. Come on. Gotta get up early, gotta make these plays.
Come on.
They don't even know I grind every day. Always making moves, yeah, we getting paid.
Come on.
I'ma do what I need to do, self-made.
Gotta get this fatty, gotta get this money, y'all. Gotta get this fatty, gotta get this money, y'all. Gotta get this fatty, gotta get this money, y'all. Gotta get this fatty, gotta get this money, y'all. Cashavelli music, yeah, we bout to ball hard. I'ma pass the ball, yeah, I ain't gon' ball hard. Everywhere Cashavelli music, yeah, we bout to get a guap. All the homies car, yeah, we got drop tops. In the parking lot, yeah, we bout to stun a lot. 40 Glock, my niggas will pop your top. We don't give a fuck, talking shit in the parking lot. Bad bitch shows up, yeah, I do a lot. 24/7 years, around the clock. LA to the Bay, yeah, I stun a lot. T-top, dub 6, yeah, they sub a lot. Sidewayz to the next light. If the bitch really bad, I'm about to fuck tonight. You know it. I ain't talking shit like Dolomite. Stupid. I'ma hit the bitch with the real pipe. Alright.
Gotta get up early, gotta make these plays.
Come on.
They don't even know I grind every day. Always making moves, yeah, we getting paid.
Come on.
I'ma do what I need to do, self-made.
Gotta get this fatty, gotta get this money, yo. Gotta get this fatty, gotta get this money, yo. Gotta get this fatty, gotta get this money, yo. Gotta get this fatty, gotta get this money, yo.
Chain gang mob squad on the boulevard. Sin City, Las Vegas, you can pull my card. I'm popping willies on the track, watch me handle bars. You can look me in my face, see the battle scars. Sometimes all I see is red like a matador. Going through the bullshit, but I am a star. So I shine bright through the dark night. All black car reflecting all the Vegas lights. But I'm cooler than an igloo in that motherfucker. Making moves, watch them sizzle in this motherfucker. Next play is a riddle in this motherfucker. We getting paid, getting bigger in this motherfucker. Gotta run a marathon, yeah, I'm running miles. And you know that every song, I'ma hold it down. Pull up and I'm staying strong, that is all that counts. I ain't doing nothing wrong, living in the now. Gotta get up early, gotta make these plays. They don't even know I grind every day. Always making moves, yeah, we getting paid. I'ma do what I need to do, self-made.
Gotta get this fatty, gotta get this money, yo. Gotta get this fatty, gotta get this money, yo. Gotta get this fatty, gotta get this money, yo. Gotta get this fatty, gotta get this money, yo.
I like
There
that.
it
I
is,
like
number
that.
3.
I like that.
Betty.
I like that. I like that.
Gosh,
I like
dope,
that.
man.
Super
Oh,
dope.
man.
I
Yo,
like
this is
it.
Yo Cashavelli. If you're just tuning in, we are going the top 10, top 3 countdown.
Top 3.
Top 3 songs of the week. Man, to get that right. My name is Chris Cash.
Myself, DJ GKid.
Sidewayz Mack.
Hello.
If you got a video you want to vote for the countdown, go ahead and drop that in the comments below.
Right now.
And while you're in there, go ahead and drop your favorite emojis, man. Drop some flames, some sneezes, some flyers, some whatever. You feel me?
Yeah, man, we want to thank y'all for tuning in, man. 24 hours around the clock, man. Cause we streaming and we throwing these videos to y'all. We've been working hard, man. As you can tell,
working very hard. Make sure you tune in to Mug Talk coming up next. We got a very special guest. I would like to say music royalty.
Dropping gems.
In the building. If you are all about picking up gems and learning the game and learning how to excel your game.
He's throwing some alley-oops.
And yeah, he's throwing some alley-oops for sure. We have Bobby Gordy Jr. in the building. Part of the Barry Gordy family, the Gordy tree. Who started Motown, by the way, if you ain't know Motown.
Man, that is sick. That's real sick, man.
Yeah.
History lesson.
Low key, he said Cashavelli music is next.
Yeah, we next. He did say that.
You can see the vision. Low key.
Shouts out to Dale Nose, man, for popping clutch on that one too. Like, it's all about the team, all about the squad, man.
Shout out to him.
Making moves, man.
Came through. We had no guests and he just dropped.
Can't do it without y'all neither, man.
Okay,
Team effort.
So
let's go.
What we got, number 2?
Number 2. Numero dos.
Number 2
is Cash with Shark Bait. Hello.
Let's watch some more cars, man. Let's go.
Yeet.
Man. Shark
Turn
Bait
up.
number 2. Let's go.
Cashavelli music.
Cashavelli. Try to be a baby shark, end up being shark bait. Started naming all these names when you caught a court case. Think that it's a game, you got played like an arcade. Everything you say, everything you do, all fake. Be a baby shark, end up being shark bait. Started naming all these names when you caught a court case. Everybody knows that you's a bitch. Reason why the legends in our culture getting flipped. Quick to pop a fake motherfucker with my AK. Keep on playing, you and my bullets gon' have a play day. Keep on buying time, keep a 9 for that layaway. Drum on my stick will have you thumping like a 808. Catch me up in Vegas with some real players. Got your bitch in Vegas making real paper. Got some Molly in her making that a trainer. Hard body, got that candy, homie. shark, end up being shark bait. Started naming all these names when you caught a court case. Think that it's a game, you got played like an arcade. Everything you say, everything you do, all fake. Try to be a baby shark, end up being shark bait. Started naming all these names when you caught a court case. Think that it's a game, you got played like an arcade. Everything you say, everything you do, all fake. You ain't a gangster, huh? You ain't a real one. You need to stop frontin' before you get killed, son. You's a clout chaser, I done warned y'all. Just a weenie with some bread, you a corn dog. Couple of the stuff, got a lot of hoes that'll drop it to the floor. Never go against a code, if you do, use a hoe. Piss off, homie, cause you really gotta go. Quit swimming with the sharks, you looking like some shark bait. Crush you like granola, you a soft yoga parfait. Ponies, you got 8, hit that shit the hard way. Pimp slap you hoe, come to Vegas, stay at Palms Play. Try to be a baby shark, end up being shark bait. Started naming all these names when you caught a court case. Think that it's a game, you got played like an arcade. Everything you say, everything you do, all fake. Try to be a baby shark, end up being shark bait. Started naming all these names when you caught a court case. Think that it's a game, you got played like an arcade. Everything you say, everything you do, all fake. Try to be a baby shark, end up being shark bait. Started naming all these names when you caught a court case. Think that it's a game, you got played like an arcade. Everything you say, everything you do, all fake.
You are now tuning in. You are tuned in to Cashavelli TV. This is your Cashavelli. My name is Chris Cash.
Yo. Myself, DJ GKid. Sidewayz Mack one time. Hello.
Hey, if you're in the comments right now, and I want to do something different. If you have a joke, if you have a funny joke, go ahead and drop that in the comments below. Sure. And we'll let you know if it's funny or not.
I definitely will. And if anybody want to shoot them, I think I got jokes, man. What's happening?
Oh, but you gonna laugh at my joke. When I put jokes in there, you're gonna laugh at my jokes. Basically that. Right? Also no. Remember, if you come to Las Vegas, come rock with Cashavelli Studios.
Yes,
holler at me. I'm the best engineer in Las Vegas. So make sure you holler at me.
Hello. Listen some Bill notes, man. Don't worry about you, man. We got you, man. Y'all see him. Y'all can't see him though. We see him though. Don't trip, man. Hey, man. We want to thank y'all for subscribing, liking, sharing. We have Cashavelli 24 hours around the clock. We got my DJ Cashavelli, but we got Nova Bless coming in at number one. Still.
Numero uno.
Second week.
Dope video.
Second week in a row. Big shout out to Slater for 50-50. If you haven't had a golden burger,
hello.
You should.
I want one. Can I get one?
You should.
I want to take y'all burger.
I'm trying to get a burger.
The way to get it, all you gotta do is follow me, follow Nova Bless, follow Cashavelli, follow Slater 50-50.
Can I get one?
Hit like and post. Hit the like and post, and I butchered that whole shit. But you get what I'm saying. Just go on Slater 50-50's page and just follow.
Just follow directions. Follow directions. And it'll get you there, and you might get you a free golden burger, like how the bosses did. You understand me?
It ain't rocket science.
Hello.
Dope burger.
Yeah, let's go.
It's in the video.
Let's go.
Number one, free bands.
Free
Nova
bands.
Free tacos.
Nova Bless.
Let's get it.
Yeah.
They might catch me on my low faded jeans, rings like Frodo, Billie Jean, pussy loco, stole that girl, I broke the broco. They might catch me on my Tala, magic with that whip I pop off. Racks on Saint Laurent, no knockoff. YSL that turtle bop pop. They might catch me on my payday. Do too much, how it been lately. Get my chips up, dip wavy. Rose gon' see okay, Mercedes. They might catch me laughing Kiki. Overtime, this shit got easy. More like Brian, who can beat me? Oh, that's right, they can't see me. You were looking at the best, perfection in the flesh. These niggas mad, I'm next. Heart filled with hate, they just so envious. Come correct, I demand respect. Competition, I ain't seen none yet. Cuban links hang from my neck. Diamond dance, hit that two-step. Like, hey, who is you kidding? I've been on a mission, I've been getting chicken. A chef in the kitchen, the way that I whip it, my grind is persistent. Hey, money consistent, ain't chasing these women. They all on my dick, cause they know that I'm winning. They need it, I got it, I ship it, I keep it on the low, no specific. Saint Laurent cost a nigga a house, no Forrest got a driveway looking like a car show. Chase the money and go where I go. They might catch me on my low faded jeans, rings like Frodo, Billie Jean, pussy loco, stole that girl, I broke the broco. They might catch me
catch me on my payday. Do too much, how it been lately. Get my chips up, dip, waiting. Rose gon' say, okay, Mercedes. They might catch me laughing, Kiki. All the time, this shit got easy. Born like Brian, who can beat me? Oh, that's why they can't see me. Running this shit like Usain. I don't want the fame, I want respect on my name, and I want the change from breaking down them big friends. Shit, we ain't the same. Stay in your lane. It's a dog-eat-dog world. You a small pup to a great day. My wrist sick, my chick bad. Money big, you big mad. What's new to you? I been had. I take them out cause they been trash. Step in design and my money is evident. These niggas say their life is irrelevant. Pockets filled with them sorrows. All of them dead presidents. I just be ballin' by accident. Walking the spot, I'm blowing the bag. Looking like money, you looking so mad. Don't check the price, I'm lied to the tag. Saint Laurent cost a nigga a house. No foreigns got the driveway looking like a car show. Don't chase the money, it go where I go. They might catch me on my low faded jeans. Rings like Frodo, Billie Jean. Pussy loco, stole that girl, I broke the broco. They might catch me on my Tala. Magic with that whip, I pop off. Racks on Saint Laurent, no knockoff. Buy and sell that turtle, pop. They might catch me on my payday. Do too much, how it been lately. Get my chips up, dip, waiting. Rose gon' say, okay, Mercedes. They might catch me laughing, Kiki. All the time, this shit got easy. Born like Brian, who can beat me? Oh, that's right, they can't see me.
What's that? 2 weeks in a row? 3 weeks in a row? What's going on?
Like 3 weeks.
3 weeks in a row, huh?
And a
Big shout out to West fans.
He hit
us with the God mode and just
with the burger. So delicious.
You know what that means? Wow.
And the sushi though, don't forget the sushi, man. With the girl with the sushi, man, I was tearing that shit up. Yes, hello. Hey, so somebody, a sushi spot need to sponsor me. Y'all need to sponsor me now, y'all. They got the burger spot. I'm gonna get the sushi spot.
Sushi spot, nice. You gotta maybe next video we're gonna do a big sushi video.
Hello.
We need a sponsor.
Wait.
This is Cashavelli TV. Cashavelli.com. My name is Chris Cash.
Myself, DJ GKid.
Sidewayz Mack one time. Hello.
Make sure you tune in next. We got Mug Talk. Next we got royalty, music royalty in the building. Bobby Barry Jr. is in the building. Legends going down. Also, we got live performances. It's definitely going down. And I got a question for you guys.
What's the question?
So Cashavelli Music, you know what I'm saying? We're a good team. We're a good squad. If we were a football team, what position would we play?
Hello.
See, no one's flying for a reason.
Drop it in the comments. What would I play?
Put that in the comments below.
What would Sidewayz Mack play? What position would
What about
GKid
basketball?
play? Basketball too. Football or basketball?
And
football or
Put
basketball.
in the comments below,
What positions?
DJ play
Let
golf.
us know. I play tennis.
Okay, if you was a tennis player, GKid, what tennis player would you be? Who?
I would just be me.
Serena
Tiger with no woods.
That's not even tennis, bro. That's golf.
He
You
said
said
golf.
tennis. I got y'all. You know what I'm saying? Well, drop it on the comments below, man.
Yeah.
Drop some emojis, man. Fuck with us. Rock with us. Oh, if you got a video you want to vote for next,
Put it in the comments below.
in the comments.
Hello, right down there. And we can't do it without y'all. We want to thank y'all for liking, tuning in, and going to share with your cousins, grandmas, cousins, daughters, baby mamas, and all them. Share with everybody.
Yeah.
You understand me? Hello.
Yeah, make sure when you're on Cashavelli.com, you go ahead and put your email down because we're doing a lot of private parties. We got a big car event that we
Big follow up.
It's gonna be crazy.
There's merchandise there too. Music.
Like Car Star?
All that good
Car
stuff.
Star? What?
Cashavelli.com. Drop it down.
Tune in.
You already know what it is, man. Yeah.
Hello. Yo.
This is Mug Talk. My name is Chris Cash.
Yeah, and it's your boy Nova Bless. You already know what it is.
Yeah, and it's the lead engineer of Cashavelli Music, Sadell Note.
And we have a special guest in the building.
Special guest.
Uh-oh.
I would like to say music royalty.
Music royalty.
In the building.
100%. All your favorite records. All your favorite jams. All your favorite classics.
Yeah.
That root from one source. Motown.
Yeah.
Motown. And in the building right now, we have Robert Gordy Jr.
Whoa.
How you doing?
Tell the people. I'm doing real good. Representing the D.
The D.
Always
Motown.
out here in hot Vegas.
Yeah. You speaking of D, Big Sean just released a new album. What are your thoughts on Big Sean?
I love him.
Love him? Do you
He's
feel
great.
he should be mentioned with the Kendrick Lamars and the J. Coles?
Absolutely.
Why is he not?
Well, people have to catch up. They got to know what's going on. They got to expand their horizons, listen to everything, Yeah. I mean, I look just like the fact that, he's dating, Janae, Aiko.
Oh, yeah.
He dated, a couple other young ladies that are hot in the business. So I was like, whoa.
Right.
He's doing it.
Okay.
But coming from the D, maybe fast forward, we probably go back and forth. But I was in Detroit this time last year for a big Motown 60th celebration.
Wow.
And, my uncle, the chairman of Motown, Barry Gordy himself, was there. And I got invited to that. And, I talked my way into some $1,000 seats right close, how we do it. But everybody was there. Big Sean was there. He spoke. He performed. So as much props to him. Neo just found out he had been signed as vice president Motown.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So Las Vegas right there.
Big Vegas. See,
Hell
that's that Vegas-Detroit connection.
Okay, cool.
The Motown, Philly, all of that. Motown, Detroit, Chicago, but all over the world. So let's cheers to all of that, But I believe the young people, like I said, I hate to give away my age because I really feel like I'm still in my 40s, but I go all the way back to the 1950s, And even before Motown started. That's why I do get a lot of calls to get interviews, with some of my cousins, but they didn't give it back to me because a lot of my cousins got you guys' age. But,
so I don't mean to cut you off, but so you seen this? So you said before Motown, you were seeing this from the ground up, huh?
From the ground up, from the 1950s during segregation, racism, discrimination. But Detroit was kind of a phenomenon because of the auto industry. The black people had to fight their way into the unions into the 40s. There were, anybody can look up a lot of these things. 1943 race riots in Detroit, where black people had to fight their way into the UAW, because Henry Ford and a lot of the big wigs, they wouldn't allow the blacks onto the assembly line, so there were riots in Detroit in the 40s. Fast forward to the 50s, there was a little bit more prosperity in Detroit, more than a lot of places, because of the auto industry. That allowed parents to, give their kids a better education, plus arts and music. So you can hear that in the Motown music.
Right.
Because my family, the Gordy family, I just put something on my Facebook page yesterday. They were entrepreneurs 80 years ago. My grandfather, Pop Gordy, and my grandmother, Bertha Gordy, they started businesses in Detroit in the 1930s. They came up from Georgia, Sandersville, Georgia. And like you said, you know the stories, they would steal land from the blacks in the South. So my grandfather, who was mixed black and Irish, so he had a lighter complexion. So when they tried to steal his land, they fought him because he almost kind of looked like a white man. But they tried to steal money from him. And he went up to Detroit. He took a check. They said, don't cash it down here in Georgia. They'll try to steal it from you. They told him, go up to Detroit. He didn't know anything about Detroit. This was in the late 1920s. Went up there and he saw the business, prosperity, the booming, in Detroit industrial city. So there was a lot of activity going on. He cashed his check in there. Then he brought my grandmother, and they had like 6 kids at the time. Then Barry was number 7. He was the last one born in
I went
Georgia.
through your whole family tree today, bro.
Yeah, the whole family tree. But I want to break down the foundation. My father was the only of 8 kids that was actually born in Detroit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now here in Detroit, my grandfather started doing all kind of entrepreneurial jobs, construction, plastering, you know, he was the first black man to have his own construction and plastering companies. Then he branched over into a grocery store because there were no black grocery stores in the 1930s and 40s.
Right.
Now, he was very strong disciplinarian. That's why I think you should, you know, I think parents should discipline their kids because it worked with all my aunts and uncles.
Right.
Put them all to work in the grocery stores, the construction businesses, you know. So the Gordy family kind of came up as businessmen because Pop and Bertha Gordy were very strong disciplinarians. They didn't want any lazy kids going around and running into trouble. Maybe my Uncle Barry was probably the biggest troublemaker in the family. He was the black sheep.
So I know we have like so many questions, bro. I have so many questions.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm gonna just get one rolling if that's cool.
Yeah, that's good.
First of all, what's Michael Jackson like? What happened that day in the studio when Blue got mad and ran out in the movie? No, I'm just making jokes, man.
All right.
But
So
that was a serious question. Like, how was it like seeing these amazing, freaking like phenomenal artists that paved the way for artists like us today?
Right.
Like, I guess my question is like, how important is us to like know that stuff like as artists today? Like, I said Barry Gordy today, and somebody said, "Who's that?" I said, "What? Motown? Nothing." Like, I got nothing.
Who is that?
No, and I was like, whoa. It was a younger kid, too. I was a younger kid. I was so excited to meet you yesterday, and I was like, man, we got to show these kids the roots of where this stuff come from, but they want to be rappers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
All
how
that.
important do you think that is, sir?
Well, you know, you mentioned Michael Jackson. I was there as a kid, about 68, 69, when the Jackson family came to Detroit, which was an amazing thing in itself, bringing them up from Gary, Indiana. And they were sleeping on a producer's floor, you know, when they came up to audition, and Barry didn't really want to have anything to do with little kids. He was dealing with grown-ups, The Temptations, Fort Tops, Marvin Gaye.
Yeah.
They gave him a hard time with Stevie Wonder, 12-year-old genius. And he said after him, you know, I had to deal with tutors and his mom and all that stuff, so I didn't want to deal with kids. Now I hear these people say, you got to hear these Jackson 5 guys. He said, no, I don't. But they were so good, they convinced him, please listen to them. So they came up, Detroit, sleeping on the floor. Finally got an audition. Of course, you know, being in business, you're always skeptical of a new guy coming in or new people. You know, I can do that. Oh, yeah. Let's get this over with.
First day at
But
Cashavelli.
when they auditioned, you've seen audition tapes. Michael, blew him away doing James Brown and Jackie Wilson. And
How old was he when he walked in there?
He was probably like 8, 9 years old. Yeah. So the thing was, they put the whole force of Motown company behind grooming and developing Michael and his Jackson brothers, Suzanne DePass. See, these are people's names that young people should know. Remember, they should Google the name Suzanne DePass. She had just come to Motown, but she was very talented. She taught them their choreography and got them ready. So when they hit the stage on Ed Sullivan's show and everything, they were tight. But before that, like you guys are doing here, I love your complex, that you have great studios and everything. The magic is in the music. But Motown had developed a formula from the 1950s. Barry Gordy was like you guys. You could be Barry Gordy in 1954, 55, 56. You don't know where the magic is coming from.
Do you have a copy of this formula, and can you email it to me? No, I'm just kidding. No, I said, do you have a copy of this formula, and can you email it to me?
Yeah.
Well, the formula, you know, there's so many documentaries. I sent you a documentary
Yeah, I
about
did
Motown.
look at that. That was dope.
It's like a 6-part documentary in 10-minute intervals.
Yeah.
You could send it to all your people. It gives you a little bit of insight what was going on. But see,
some of the jewels, right? Like
yeah,
some of the jewels.
some of the jewels. But
let me ask you this: so since you have so much experience and everything like that, what is the common thing, or like the common principle, or common characteristics that you see within the successful people, like that's held up throughout the years?
Well, I think the main thing is desire, drive, intensity. Almost like you can't wait to get up out of bed. You know, like we talk.
Or if I ever go to bed.
You can't
5
sleep.
in the
No, I
morning.
can't even go to bed till I
They
get a
were,
bag.
You know, kept me up 5:30 in the morning. You know, because they were so intense about their music, and it was so creative what you all were doing.
Guys, that's from my own heart. See, I could have been on
magnificent.
Motown.
But it reminded me of the old days. But see, I saw it from the 1950s. Berry Gordy was one of the most driven, most compelling men that I had ever seen. He ate, drank, and slept the studio. He wrote down songs.
He's
He
one of my
worked
heroes.
At, Lincoln Mercury at Ford. And on the assembly line, he was the guy that put the leather on the chair, on the seats of the cars.
Wow.
So as assembly line's going, and of course the syncopated rhythms, the monotonous rhythms of the machines going, in his head, he's thinking of beats.
Right.
But he was a romantic. He's like anybody, a heartbroken romantic. He loved women, but he couldn't get no girls, you know, because the girls wanted the guys with, you know, Jackie Wilson, the guys with the slick hair. So he figured he would write songs to get the girls. So he became a prolific songwriter, prolific producer. But he went all over. He went to New York. He went to Chicago. He went there producing things on, you know, look up the name Etta James, the great blues singer.
Bro, I know.
Honey.
You
I
know,
got
he
everybody
wrote
got Rick
songs
James.
for her.
I got
He-
every
you know,
James, bro.
But all his friends were creative writers, producers. So they just got together. Now, they weren't making any money. That's the beautiful thing about it. They were doing it for the love, the creativity. You know, they were doo-wop groups on the street corner. You know, before the Temptations came to Motown, they were called the Primes. And the Supremes were called the Primettes. But they would be on the street just doo-wopping. But when I came up, 1954, and then 57, I was 3 years old. I met Jackie Wilson as 3 years old. But I could feel the intensity. I could feel the excitement in the air. I couldn't put words to it, but I knew something exciting, something magical was going on, because they ate, drank, and slept this music more than knew my father, which is Berry Gordy's younger brother, by a year and a half. He was their first artist. They put him out, you know, and he changed his name instead of, you know, Robert Gordy Sr. His stage name was Bob Kayli, Kayli. Look him up. He had the first record before Motown. It hit the charts. And Dick Clark had a show before American Bandstand. They called my uncle and one of my aunts who was managing my dad. They said, can Bob Kayli come to Philadelphia and do the Dick Clark nighttime show? They flew him to Philadelphia. He had done a song called Everyone Was There. That's on Google. You know, Google it. Everyone Was There, Bob Kayli. It hit the charts, 95, 96. He appeared on Dick Clark. But back then, in the 50s, you know, you got to kind of sound white, you know, sound like a white man. So it was going up the chart. They thought he was a white man. As soon as he appeared on Dick Clark, there was a clean-cut, all-American-looking young man. And they said, he's not white. The song dropped off the charts, and the radio station stopped playing it. So Berry was like, what does this mean? So after that, they had the first early years of Motown, they wouldn't put a picture of the artist on the album cover. They said, we don't want the look to interfere with people, white kids buying the music. It was still segregated, still called race music. Berry Gordy said, I'm going to break the race music barrier. I want my artists to be seen as 100% artists, creative. We want to compete with Pat Boone and Chuck, you know, Elvis Presley, you know. So his formula worked. The early days of Motown, late 50s, early 60s, the people didn't know if they were black or white. They just heard the music and they loved it. Now, the Motown artists started breaking the barriers, breaking segregation. They'd go down south. There'd be a group of white kids on this side, black kids over here with a velvet rope. By the time the Motown Review went through the South, they pulled that velvet rope down. All the black and white people were dancing and singing together. But it was during that time, civil rights and all the things that were going on at the time. You know,
Right.
Motown was the soundtrack of the civil rights movement. Berry Gordy Martin Luther King came to Detroit and asked Berry Gordy to record him during the March on Washington, I Have a Dream speech.
Would you say like Motown was like pretty much all around? They accepted everybody during like this time when they started that, like everybody, white, black, brown, yellow, purple. You know what I'm saying? They had a pretty diverse like Motown. Like they loved everybody.
I believe Motown opened the door for diversity, the interaction of the races. As a child, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, I would go to the Hitsville studios. Like you got these studios here.
Is that building still standing?
It's still there. It's a historical museum now.
I would love to check that out one day.
It's worldwide. Millions of people come every year. It's one of the top tourist attractions in Detroit now.
I'm coming, bro.
Millions of people. They make a mecca or pilgrimage
I'm going. Y'all
to
wanna go?
Detroit to see the
we go to
Motown
Detroit.
Hitsville studio.
I'm going. I ain't never been to the D. I'm coming to your
You
city.
got to go to the D.
You
But
got
the thing that I loved about it, when I was a little boy, 1960, 62, 6, 8 years old, I saw white executives, black executives, Jewish, Italian, Irish. Berry Gordy was big on promoting women. There were a lot of women executives. Women worked at Motown. So it was very diverse. And so I believe that was part of the magic of Motown. Now, moving into the 60s, 70s, and 80s, of course, the music starts changing. Motown is losing market share because hip-hop comes up in the late 70s, going into the 80s. Disco was in the 70s. Motown tried to stay on the wave and compete, change their style, change their formula. But the music industry was changing. Now the big conglomerates, they're trying to solidify and consolidate all the different companies. And now a lot of the white companies that didn't want to have anything to do with black music, when they saw the success of Motown in the 1960s, that's when they said, wait, we got to get a part of this action. So now they started reaching out to a lot of the black acts that they would have overlooked. They said, we can't let these guys go to Motown because Motown make them star. Motown, by the end of the 1960s, was dominating the charts. They had the
Motown
5
was
and 6
literally like you
top
wanted to be in
songs. They had the top, if you look
Top
on the
artist.
charts in the 1967, 68, 69, 78, they were dominating the charts. 5 and 6 records
They were like
in the top 10.
Cashavelli of Vegas. Like they was just dominating.
They had struck gold. They
Straight
had
up.
hit that formula. Like when you get that nerve, you strike that nerve, and you get the blood.
They
you
had
get
it
that
down.
oil.
They had it
you
down
know.
to a science. Right?
Yeah, they got it down. They struck oil, and the oil just kept coming. But the bottom line, why was the oil coming? It was the oil in their mind. It was the fertility of
Jewels.
the mind. See, it all starts in the mind. So you got to have a foundation. Somebody said, was it the water, or was it the air in Detroit, or was it the soil, or was it the food? What was it that got all these people so creative? Why? It wasn't happening in Chicago. It wasn't happening in New York the way it was happening in Detroit. Smokey Robinson did an interview one time where he said only in Detroit could a Motown could have happened because Detroit had Berry Gordy. That was the key. There was nobody like him. He had a fertile mind. Somebody said he was a student of human nature. He studied people. If he was here now, and a lot of people say I look like him, but when you talk to him, he would be looking right at you. He would be listening, he'd be absorbing, and he'd give you back everything you told him. So that's why people gravitated to him. He was a magnet.
So real quick before I forget, so this day and age, there was a comment that was made not too long ago, y'all probably remember this, that DJ Khaled is the Berry Gordy of this time and day and era. What do you think?
Yeah,
being
I
a
would
family
agree
member?
with that.
You agree with that?
Because you have to have the insight and the intensity. You have to care about people. You have to love people.
That's a major key.
See, you have to care. You can't, you've seen a lot of the movies where the music mogul he's all about the money and he's all about ripping people off, and you can't do that. Motown was not like that. Some people think that Motown had that image because it was so intense. A lot of people say, well, Motown probably was owned by the mob. No, it was no mob. The Gordy family was the mob.
Gordy mob.
My grandparents, they ruled
Nope,
with an
you've been
iron
really quiet,
fist,
man.
and they watched all the artists, but they cared about the art. They brought everybody in like family, you know.
So,
Speaking of
question I wanted to ask is, as you were saying, during the late 70s, hip hop started taking over, and then Motown started declining. Was that because maybe the Gordy family didn't want to like compete in that new sound, or what was the cause of that?
I think it was a lot of variations. My Barry Gordy and his brothers and sisters, they started getting older. A newer generation was coming up, my generation, but we were more involved in doing regular things because we were in the music business.
Live your regular
But
life,
I was probably one of the only ones who were really interested in going into the business, but I was doing other things. I wanted to go into filmmaking and television, so I was doing that. But then other things, you know, life happens. All of a sudden, you meet a girl, she gets pregnant,
Right.
you know.
Living life,
Now you got to go get a job, you know. I worked at Chevrolet Gear and Axle at General Motors in the late 70s because I was trying to take care of a wife and baby, you know. So I kind of got away from the music business because I had these immediate responsibilities with writing my I couldn't do what my uncles did when we had more time to just be in the studio. I still hung out with cats in the studio. We cut some records. You know, I was a songwriter. I got a couple of songs published, you know, but I was still in that. So now I see the hip-hop generation coming up, and they're going in a different direction. So it kind of moved away from Detroit. Motown had left Detroit and went to California to be more in the film industry. So it wasn't their main priority. So, but even at Motown, I remember people like Benny Medina, and he's well known in the industry. He's the manager of Jennifer Lopez. He managed Sean P. Diddy Combs. He managed Will Smith. He was the reason why Will Smith got be the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Actually, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is the Benny Medina story.
I've been rewatching
you know,
that for
but
the past
Benny
week
Medina
'cause it's
started
on,
as
HBO.
a songwriter, a producer at Motown. You know, that was his first job. They had a group called the Apollo, and they tried to, you know, do a couple of albums and things, and they didn't really go that well. It was kind of a mediocre situation, but they were going. Then I saw Benny Medina was one of the first people at Motown that tried to get into the rap game during the early 80s, right? So we would go to the shows in L.A., almost like that movie 8 Mile with Eminem. We went to some underground rap shows
The
in
style
L.A.
is generic.
where it was
Authentic.
hardcore. You know, now
Right.
at that time, most of my cousins, they were living in nice houses. They didn't want to go down to the underground,
Hey.
you know.
Hey,
But
so Mr. Gordy, real
this
quick.
is where it
real
was
quick.
happening.
This is
is
going
where
to be
the-
my last question, Mr. Gordy, and it's not even my question. My man, Mr. Nova Bless, has not said much, and y'all have actually much in common. Y'all families probably crossed paths at one point, because that's around the era of your family. Why don't you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I believe what Sadel's referring to is my father started the group, the Rude Boys, in his basement. So that's what he's referring to, and then they did a whole tour and things like that, written all over your face. Yeah,
I remember the Rude Boys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man, and still to this day, I think my father, not too long ago, actually like a year ago, he started his own label and re-signed Joe as his own artist.
Wow.
And they did international tours and stuff like that.
Yeah, all of that. I meet so many people from all type of groups, from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, you know, but the music industry was transitioning, you know, and hip-hop was magnificent. Hip-hop wasn't owned by one company like Motown had their stable of artists, and they kind of protected them and kept them from going, you know, different where other people. But now hip-hop was going LL Cool J, you know, Run DMC, you know, all the different groups. So Motown tried to stay on top of that, but they had like Rick James, who was kind of the rude boy of Motown, and Tina Marie, you know, that
They had
brought
all the
the
goats, bro.
edginess to Motown. But then Motown had DeBarge and Switch. But then they also had, you know, easy listening like Lionel Richie and the Commodores, you know. but they wanted to branch off more into the hip hop and the rap. But then the rap changed again. Now you get the
y'all had
gangster
Gladys
rap.
Knight. Come
You know?
on,
They
man.
in it now though.
So,
with
yeah.
Motown's newest deal with
The
Quality
new-
Control.
Gladys,
Yeah.
Sideways.
Now they're
Gladys.
back on top
Yeah.
of hip hop.
Gladys.
With Lil Baby being one of the best top charting artists, Migos, Quavo, Offset, and I mean their entire fleet in general.
Right,
Gladys
because
Knight.
they invested more money. MCA Universal bought Motown in 1988.
They were the goats.
But I felt that only group that they really developed was Boys to Men. But they had other people, India Ari, they had Brian McKnight, they still have Kim. But even though I pretty much got out of the music business, my forte was music publishing and music copyright. Because when my father's music career tanked, he went off and began to run Motown's music publishing company, which is really where all the money is.
I'm about to say he was still
So,
getting that bag. Then,
I used to say Motown was really a music publishing house with a record company attached to it. See, the money was music publishing, copyright. So my father ran the copyright publishing department, and then I eventually got a job. I worked there about 7 years. Copyright. I copyrighted everything.
For the people that don't know, like, what can you distinguish like a publishing company between a label, like?
And also the copywriting.
The publishing, they started, in the 40s, 30s, 40s, and 50s to protect the music. Like you write a song. I was talking to somebody yesterday. I said, and they were playing me the music. I said, did you copyright your music? But see, I was the copyright manager. They, give you the music. They give you the lead sheet. They give you the lyric sheet. You make a cassette tape, and then you send it to Washington, D.C., to the Library of Congress. You send the paperwork, and then they send you a copyright certificate. Now, if somebody steals your stuff, or you say, hey, man, that song sounds like my stuff, you're the only one that has the right to copy or, your song. Somebody comes and, creates something from what they heard from you, you can take them to court and say, no, he heard my song and he stole it. There's been some big copyright lawsuits. The big one, Ghostbusters, with Ray Parker Jr. They said that he copied Huey Lewis and the News, I Want a New Drug. If you look at I Want a New Drug and then you listen to Ghostbusters, they sound exactly the same. Huey Lewis and the News took Ray Parker to court and won the right to his he had to turn over the copyright to Ghostbusters. Another one, George Harrison. He wrote a song called My Sweet Lord. There was another group of writers that wrote a song called He's So Fine. They took George Harrison to court and said, he's so fine. My Sweet Lord sounds exactly like He's So Fine. They took the copyright from George Harrison, one of the original Beatles, and gave it to the original. That's how powerful copyright is.
Even in this day, like it's
In
very
this day,
important to get your,
MC Hammer, Can't Touch This. He used
swear
Rick
Usher
James,
stole
Give It
some
to Me
of them.
Baby, or Super Freak. They let MC Hammer make he made $5-10 million off that. All of a sudden, Rick James comes in and say, you know what? I never got paid. You used my track for Super Freak. That's mine.
That's how they
MC
do.
Hammer had to turn over all the copyright and royalties to Rick James for Give It
That's
to Me.
what happened.
So, and then one of the latest ones, Pharrell and Robin Thicke.
Oh yeah, I heard
They
about that
did, the song
Happy, right?
that we're not happy.
Blurred
but
Lines.
Blurred Lines.
Yeah.
Right.
Marvin Gaye's kids took them in court and said, sounds like Got to Give It Up, and they won.
Right.
And there was a lot of big dispute. They said, no, it doesn't really sound like. But when they gave it to the jury and the judge, they said, sounds too much like, Got to
Like
Give It
that
Up.
one listening session and your whole copyright played it. Oh,
So,
that's it, y'all.
so copyright. So that's what I used to. I used to copyright the songs of Smokey Robinson, Stevie Wonder, all the Motown artists had to, but Motown made deals that, hey, if you become one of our artists, you got to sign a record deal and a music publishing deal. So that was just part of business. It wasn't like they were trying to rip people. It was part of business. I'm gonna give you $100,000 advance, but your catalog of songs will come through us. Now we're gonna pay you as a writer, but we do the publishing. The publishing is important because the publisher collects all the money from around the country, around the world. You know, whenever they play your song on the radio, somebody's got to collect that money. You got to collect the money when it comes on TV. It was played in a movie. You know, a lot of songs, you know, you write a song, that, hey, man, it's perfect for my movie. Movie make $100 million, you got to get paid. You know, so the publisher is the guy, they're like the police officer. They go and get the money. That's the most important thing. You could have $1 million seller, but if you don't know how to do your publishing and copyright, that money, you'll never get it.
Be floating out there.
Yeah, so that was Motown, one of the genius things of Motown, and why they made so much money. To me, they probably went between $2 and $3 billion over the course of their 30-year, and it's been 60 years now.
Coldplay.
You know, but
How much did you say? Billion or million?
Billion. 2 to 3 billion.
You heard me? Man, them records are instant classics.
Instant. All over the world.
All they
Somewhere
artists.
all over the world. I get calls from people in London, UK, Australia, Germany. Robert, can you come? Can you do it? You know, because we love Motown. You know, we eat, drink, and sleep Motown. There are Motown cults in Europe called Northern Soul and Soulful Detroit.
Yeah.
These are actually musical cults that do nothing but Detroit music. You know, they pull all the Detroit, anything from Detroit. You know, so my message to young people today, I believe, as you've seen all the movies, it seems like the music is just cutthroat, and managers and agents and record executives stealing and ripping people off. Motown did not have that image. Motown, because of the Gordy family, I think was a major part of it. My aunts and uncles were raised with integrity, character, honesty, you know, truthfulness. They get whooped and beat as kids if they weren't honest and truthful, you know. So, but then they came up and they learned basic business principles. I see nothing wrong with young people today still going to community college, take business courses, Business 101, advance, and you know, get the basics, learn. You know, Barry Gordy did it just the sheer knowledge, street knowledge, and his intuition, and plus he had a lot of friends that told him a lot of stuff, how to start his own record company, white executive, Jewish executives, Italians,
Barry
Irish.
Gordy was one of the people that reached out and asked those questions to find that
But
answer.
see, you
right?
got to have friends that trust you. You trust them. They got your back. You get with smart people, smart, intelligent women. You know, 2 or 3 of my aunts knew business. They went to, you know, Howard University, got graduated. They knew about bookkeeping, accounting, taxes, marketing. You know, so Motown, he had friends that knew about marketing. They knew about sales. You get books. Go to the library, buy a book, marketing. You know, one of the best books, This Business of Music. That book has been out for like 40, 50, 60 years. You got to get that book. It's the same principles even today, even with the hip-hop artists. P. Diddy, Dr. Dre, Jay-Z, all of these guys worth $600, $800 billion now, you know. But you still had to have the basic principles, the basic formulas. People don't want to read. They want to just, you know, they can't do it like Barry Gordy did just on the strength of their intuition or their creative genius. But you've got to have all of these things together. You got to be a people person. You got to love people. You got to care about people.
Absolutely.
And you can't stab anybody in the back because it'll come back to you later on.
No stabbing nobody, I'm out.
Yeah, but I mean, these are things coming from me.
That's true, bro.
You know, my father was here. My father's 89 now. He looks like he's still in his 50s. Barry Gordy just turned 90. He still looks like he's in his 50s. They still going around. Most people in a walker and wheelchairs, you know, in the hospital, you know. But what I tell my 2 young grandsons, 15 and 16, 17, I tell them, you know, I mean, I know everybody. They you know, I was drinking till I turned the age of 55. You know, I had my party. I drank everything. Jack Daniels. Like my Grey Goose.
Do you have any crazy stories? Anything? I know you have to have a story in there. You know what I'm saying?
Wild story. See,
just one. one crazy
Like I said,
drinking
my crazy story.
degenerate.
I would probably
Jack
talk about
Daniel.
the Jackson brothers. Yeah, I don't want to get in any
Jack
trouble, but
Dan.
I would say the Jackson brothers. They
Okay.
had this clean-cut, all-American kids image, but behind the scenes, when the lights were turned off, they were some of the rowdiest. I'd say these guys almost like juvenile delinquents. I can't take them no. And Michael was one of the
But
wildest.
that's where the beat your kids come into play.
Yeah.
Coming from
And I
Mr.
said,
Gordon
what
himself.
happened?
Beat
They
your
tell me these
kids.
stories that
It
Joe
worked.
Beat these kids. These kids are
Beat
out
them
of
kids.
control. They couldn't get away. They couldn't wait to get away from Joe. But with all respect, like I said, Tito, Jermaine,
That's the drill. Beat your kids, bro.
Jackie and Marlon and Michael, we were all friends. We all grew up. We were all friends, thank God, because we saw them before the fame, before the crush of, the girls. Like you see that Beatles movie, Hard Day's Night, when the girls are running after the Beatles. We had our own Beatlemania with the Jackson brothers, the girls chasing them. And then I got a lot of girlfriends just because they, come on.
Oh, he had all them
So I was like, wow.
Party bus.
But Michael was one of the most
That's
mischievous
what you call
kids
like the
that I
trim.
ever met.
That's the trim,
He was
y'all.
always playing prank. He was one of them
He was
kids.
getting
I don't
trimmed.
know if he ever did it, but you've heard the story of people. They put a pail of water over a doorway.
That's what Michael was doing.
Yeah, something like that.
Hey, what was you
Okay,
wearing
so
back
Michael
then? What was the
put a pail of water,
style?
hit-
Hey, what was the style? What was you wearing when you was coming to get these girls, man? Like, what was the style? Because I
Oh,
seen my
in the
dad post
1970s,
crazy shit out.
we
bro.
had our baggy pants, we had our
Bell
bell
bottoms?
bottoms, we had our
Bell
big
bottoms on.
afros.
Big,
I can't even grow hair, so I'm
Yeah,
that's all right.
see, but see, when you were younger,
Man,
but
shit.
that
I don't even
in
remember
the
what hair looked like.
1970s, they were, but to me, the 60s and the 70s, of all the turmoil of civil rights and protests and marching and racing, killing Martin Luther King, killing Bobby Kennedy, it still had a time. It's still kind of a time of innocence and purity. And we were all good kids. We weren't really that wild. We did our little share of mischief when I was 16, 17, 18, but we didn't get all the way out of control. But we learned to discipline our principles from our parents. I think our parents did a good job. They would probably call it child abuse today. But
Oh yeah,
I
for
would
sure.
say
Actually,
that-
fun fact for me, like I lived in one of the last schools in North Carolina when they stopped corrective punishment. When they used to get beat at school, I used to get in trouble
get
on the
spanked
bus.
on
I had to
third
go
grade?
straight to the principal's office. There's a big board of correction with holes down the middle, and the principal was legally allowed to beat you. It was one of the last schools in
Yeah,
the
I got
whole
my
United
share.
States
I got my share
that had that.
paddling. In
Used to be a
grade,
thing. A lot of
in,
schools had
in 9th, 10th, 11th grade, I got a reputation of doing stuff. But you grow out of it. Going back to the music, what's the message to the kids today? I was with you guys all night last night.
Man, I appreciate you. You were the last one to leave with us too, bro. You came in an hour before this session was over. I chopped it up with you. You obviously like what you saw, and you kicked it with us for the last hour. You kicking it like.
I thought that what you all were creating was magnificent, but I
Thank
saw
you.
the free flow of ideas and imagination. The two rappers that were in there. One of them was my nephew, and they were just the
Shout out Snow.
fluidity. Yeah, shout out to Jared Egan.
Amazing artist. I
And,
had really. It was my favorite
Sheldon.
session the whole day. so
Sheldon,
it was great.
his stage name was Luminous Prime.
Luminous Prime. Yeah.
Luminous Prime. Shout out to Luminous Prime.
Yeah.
They were magnificent. To me, I always see it as planting a seed and watching it grow, but take it time. You got to water. You got to let the sunshine hit it, the rain, the storm. But be creative. The thing, I used to get up 4 a.m. Write this. I got to write this down. Now,
That's
in
totally
my
me.
mind, I was very clever lyricist.
Right.
I could write some good rhyming lyrics, and then me and my buddies would try to put it together. We had some song we almost got to New Edition in the early 80s. We could have been the people that gave New Edition Candy Girl, because MCA had called Joe Bett, Motown's music publishing company, and said, we need songs about a candy girl. So they got all their writers start writing. So we went in the studio, me and my buddies, we came up, candy girl, you're smooth as chocolate. You melt right in the pocket. Your loving fills me up like a peanut butter cup, and stuff like that. Now, when I first played that for somebody, they said, "Man, that's awesome." You could nobody but you could think of something. But the thing was, it might be corny to a lot of people, but you just keep being creative. It's not about one song or one album, it's about just creating every day as much as possible. If you're married, you got your responsibility with wife and kids, but whenever you get a chance, get down, put pen to paper. Let your mind flow like an artist.
No idea is a bad idea. That's what I'm kind of like. Explore. No idea is a bad idea, kind of like, you know what I'm saying?
No idea is a bad idea. Try them all. Smokey Robinson came to Berry Gordy at 18 years old. Berry was like 29. Berry was writing song for Jackie Wilson. That's another thing that the kids should Google. What were the first 5 big hits of Jackie Wilson? They were all written by Berry Gordy, my aunt Gwen Gordy Fuqua, and her boyfriend Tyrone Carlos. And they shot Jackie Wilson up to the stratosphere. All million sellers, but because of the corruption in the publishing business, Berry Gordy didn't get paid. He said, I wrote all these songs, I didn't get paid. And so Smokey Robinson gave me the idea. You should start your own record company and publishing company. That's how he started, Smokey Robinson. When Smokey Robinson came to Berry Gordy after an audition for Jackie Wilson, he showed Berry a book, like a notebook of hundreds of songs. Right. And Berry just went through them. As the story goes, like everybody have a variation on the story, but how I remember it, Berry was looking at all the songs. He said, that's bad, that's terrible crap, that's bad. He turned down all the songs. And so Smokey said, well, what's the formula? What's the secret? He said, your song has to have a beginning, a middle, an end.
Absolutely.
It has to have a climax, and it's got to have a hook.
Yeah. Right.
Now different songwriter teachers will probably have a variation on that. But he helped teach Smokey Robinson how to write a great song. Smokey Robinson now is one of the most greatest songwriters of all time. He's written millions of hits. Guys worth a couple $100 million. Stevie Wonder the same way. All these people, 100 millions. Diana Ross, Elegance. We got the women rappers. I was listening to WAP while I was coming into the stuff. But WAP. I love Cardi B. I love Megan Thee Stallion.
That's so cool though that you still keep up with like today's.
I try to keep up with 60s, 70s, 80s.
Nigga, I ain't even heard WAP yet.
Oh, you gotta hear it, but you gotta hear the clean version and the dirty version.
I don't even know if I want to hear it.
They made it a political thing. Political Republicans say, that's outrageous, that's dirty. It's a political thing about WAP. Now, there's some Republican women say, what's wrong with WAP? All women,
I hear a lot of mixed emotions on it, but I still haven't heard
it. Degrading something that's natural for women.
All summer, you get bored. You don't know what
and I'm a guy. I'll read all the articles.
But also, that's one of them ideas. Like I said, no idea is a bad idea. They thought of this WAP thing and made it work. And
look at all the songs that the rappers in the 80s and 90s, all of them got bleeped out. They can't. You can hardly listen to a 50 Cent song or Snoop Dogg. Half the lyrics are bleeped out. Bleep, bleep, bleep.
It's different now. They allow some words, right?
But then you had Little Kim. She was one of the first. All her songs were getting bleeped out. But there's some of my favorite songs. Then you had Trina. Then you had, Foxy Brown. Yeah, all of them. But to me, it was kids being creative. People, that's terrible. It was cursing. I mean, I've cursed all my life. Now I'm an old man. I'm trying to show example to my grandkids.
I know. Just say one. Just say a cuss word.
I'm trying not to curse, but when I hear young people curse, I said, let them speak.
Right.
Let them express themselves.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Let them express themselves, because even some of the rappers that were doing all the cursing and everything in the 80s and 90s, a lot of them are cleaning up their act. Now they're coming on stage with tuxedos and going to the Met, and all.
Nobody get a new tattoo in years.
Yeah, exactly. Let people express themselves. I love Beyonce. Let the women. Use her as an example. Rihanna, all the
Riri,
great artists,
Second
you
Wave.
know, bring Lil Kim back, even though she did all that plastic surgery and everything, she's still a great artist, you know, let them all, you know, express yourself, create, because now was the year 2020, you know, 2020, we're going into 2022, the music industry is
changing every day.
evolving, just
Right.
like it's been evolving since the 1940s, 50s, 60s, 70s. Motown dominated the 60s. They call it the Motown era in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. But everything is transforming. Everything is transitioning. But even at WAP, you didn't see the girls showing nakedness or anything. No, they still had really nice
channel.
gowns, dressed.
That's a different
you know.
channel. I've been there.
And so there's a place for all of this. You know, I'm more about the decency and the dignity of the music. I never liked when the male rappers were rapping and calling women out of their names. You know, I was raised to respect women and things like that.
Absolutely.
But I believe
Did
even
you
the
keep-
women. But then I go to the club. The women know all the lyrics to all the dirty songs.
He ain't
you
talking
know?
about me.
He ain't talking about me. And even if he is, so
Oh,
what?
this my
You know,
jam.
You know, I went to all white club. They played all black, dirty gangster rap. I mean, you know, I want to close my ears up. And the white girl knew all the lyrics. They talking about the N word, they telling the C word, the P word, you know, and they just dancing and having a good time. And I was like, nowhere on earth would you ever. This is a phenomenon, but there's people are there. You got to have fun. You got look at the climate we're in, the political climate, the riots, the protests, the police killings. You know,
Wow, yeah.
everything going on now. They just had a song on the radio, you know, talking about the George Floyd killing. It's a magnificent song, you know. All these guys, Offset, you know, Waka Flocka Flame, and you know, Meek Mill.
Yeah.
I try to listen to all of them. I don't want to, you know, censor. I don't want to censor anything.
Who's your favorite rapper?
Oh my
Sedell
God!
Notes. Sedell Notes.
All-time favorite rapper.
Well,
Notes.
probably Tupac.
Tupac,
You know?
my man.
Yeah.
Hey,
My
Pop.
man,
Tupac,
my man.
Tupac, but there were so many
Yeah.
good ones. But I like all KRS-One. I like who was a Busta Rhyme. You know,
Oh,
all the
Yeah.
fast-talking rappers. I wish I could talk
Oh,
that
Bone
fast.
Thugs and
you know.
Harmony. Like
But it
that.
shows the fluidity of the brain.
Right.
You know, I was always like, why aren't there white Harvard-educated rappers? You know, from the Ivy League schools. You know, because you call yourself so intelligent. Look at these black rappers. They are just rapping rapid fire, and you know they are teaching the white kids at the Ivy League schools how to do it. But it comes from a level of intelligence and creativity. And being able to express yourself, you know,
Right.
write it down, put it on pen and paper, get up 4 a.m, and then if you have a home
Keep
studio,
a pen and
get
paper
the
by your
beats down.
bed like
Yeah.
I do. I keep
Yeah.
pen and paper by my bed.
See, you
all the
guys,
time.
this is like to me an in-house bedroom studio almost. Like, you know, you guys
Right.
up all night.
Yeah.
You got your own in-house, you know. Now, get some books on basic business, you know, so you can protect your rights,
Right.
you know. And if you go to the majors, see, you gotta. Some people still go to the majors because you gotta remember the radio stations are owned by
Explain
Clear
the majors.
Channels.
What's the majors? What's that?
You are the major conglomerates like MCA,
Sony.
Universal,
okay.
BMG,
Yeah.
RCA. They still control
Everything.
the music
I
business.
knew that was for
Yeah.
them. No,
And mostly, you know, Sony, all of them.
yeah, I get it.
They bought Motown Music Publishing Company for almost $500 million, you know.
Yeah.
And Michael Jackson, you know, his catalog for close to $500 million. This is big money. But the thing is, I mean, you guys, right now, this is your time.
We
You know,
strong
if
too.
people are
We on the
listening
way.
to this. People are looking at this. Is your time. You know, get your creativity. Don't be ashamed to express yourself. Some of the most expressive and most creative people are some of the shy people, people who are afraid to talk in a public setting. That's why a lot of them go into public speaking or go into entertainment. You know, so all the arts is still necessary in the political climate, in the business climate, industrial climate. Black people, we're still fighting for our rights. rights just for humanity.
100.
You know, we gotta put you write songs about that. Maybe it's time to write a song. Hey, stop disrespecting women. All women don't have to be in the strip club, but hey, if you're in the strip club, hey, I still respect you. I still love you.
You in a strip club, you put yourself through college, go ahead. You got that back.
Yeah,
you,
boo,
boo,
girls.
boo.
You know what I'm saying?
Why you in the
Whatever
strip
your
club?
grind.
Yeah, I'm working on my degree. I'm going to be a
100.
pediatrician.
Right.
I'm going to be a neurosurgeon.
2 kids in private school.
Hey,
I was like, I gotta
whatever
get out
your
of here.
hustle is, just do it to the best of your
love
ability.
them
Know
all.
the ins and outs of all your
Right.
your
Be like,
craft,
I
man.
stripped my way to this. I be like, go ahead, doc.
Oh, yeah.
Go
There's
ahead,
some big
doc.
time
Damn, bro,
neurosurgeons and doctors that, you know.
So do we have
got
like
through
killer
college all
questions
kind of
for him?
ways.
Anybody got anything good?
You guys got any more questions before we wrap?
I mean, I
things up?
have some, but I feel like we asked it and he answered it
This
several
is a
times
big
over.
blessing.
Bro, I have a million questions. I stay here all night and pick your mind apart. I like the way you talk. I just want to know one thing. Like, you see us right here. We're pretty strong. We have a strong foundation. You see what we're working with right here. You did say you gave advice to the young kids. We ain't young kids no more. We're no more spring chickens. You feel me? I've been doing this shit 15 years. I started off like in men's all-state choir and honors choir and shit, and I got into the hip-hop. Long story short, but what would you think right now? Like I said, you don't know too much about us, but like from what you observe, what you think would be a next like move for us? Like, what should we like keep doing? Something that you saw that we're doing right for you to stay there last night to the end of the session after everybody left and sit there and have a one-on-one with me and my CFO P Money and hang out for a little bit and tap in with and pick our brains apart. That was amazing to me. I respect your family. Shout out to your family. But what would you think? What advice would you give us? Not the young kids, but us as a group. We're a strong team. This is the team right here. You feel me? So
I'd say study business, incorporate, get the basic foundation, you know, how to start a record company. You know, you might not be able to compete with the majors, but you build your brand just like everybody else is doing. You know, they saying build your brand, you know. I want to go into the Sedale business. You know, you hear them saying that in Hollywood.
Oh, they
you
winning.
know. We want to get into the Sedale business. You know, we
They
want to
winning.
get into JT business. You know, so what does that mean? You got to learn the basics about law and business, taxes, incorporation. You know, what does it do to brand your name, to protect trademark? You got to learn about trademark. You create a name, you got a trademark, what, costs $250 or more, trademark a name, you know. So learn the foundation of business. So now when you do meet a young person, a young rapper, it was like Berry Gordy. He wanted to protect the 16, 17, and 18-year-olds, the 20-year-olds. They all got paid, but they had a business structure where they knew. You know, you could look at the taxes, you could look at the books, you could look at the accounting, and said this made this money, much money. This, you know, you got to know about ASCAP and BMI. You got to know about the Harry Fox agency, licensing. You know, you've got to know about all the different song organizations that are here to help protect men and women, to protect their music. Protect their creator. That's the key right now. I hear stories from all kind of friends of mine. I got ripped out. I never got paid because you didn't go and do the extra work. Get a book. You know, you can go to the bookstore. You can go to the library. You know, this business of music. A guy, he's dead now, Kashif. He wrote a great book on the music business. You know, it was called Everything You Need, Everything You Better Know. About
like
the
read all
business,
these books,
about the music business.
read
Everything you better know about. You got to read these books, and then read some of the autobiographies. You know, Berry Gordy. I think I sent you a picture of his book.
Yeah.
Read Berry Gordy's book. Smokey Robinson wrote a book. Donna Ross, Mary Wilson has wrote 2 or 3 books, but these are just give you some references.
Right.
You know, you want to study about the career of Whitney Houston and Natalie Cole and Maurice White of Earth, Wind and Fire. You know, how did they make it? You know, read the book. How did they get a record deal? What did they do? Who discovered them? You know, who discovered this and that and the other one? Who discovered? I love that movie, Straight Outta Compton.
Oh yeah, that's hard.
Because it talks about Eazy-E and Ice Cube and all how they got the record deal. Now we're going into modern times. 50 Cent. A lot of these guys. We used to sell records out of the trunk of our car until somebody heard us and put us on. P. Diddy said the same thing. So study. Like I said, it's 2020. Go back to 2010. Go back to the year 2000. Go back to the 19.
It's funny you said that because I'm working on a '90s record, trying to bring back that '90s Phil R&B thing. So I did. That. I really like that because if we don't keep that shit alive, they're gonna lose it.
We're gonna lose all. This is all our legacy. This is all our history, and we want to add to it. I want to get my grandsons ready. One's 15, one is 17. They're getting ready to get out there.
Absolutely.
So of course, as the grandfather, I'm like, hey, don't do drugs, don't smoke cigarettes, don't drink alcohol. Knowing that, just like me, knucklehead me, hard-headed me, I had to experiment. No matter how much my mother and father said, don't do this, stay away, don't be getting no girls pregnant, I mean, thank God I had my daughters,
check
she
all
was
those
conceived when I was 22. So you can't stop life. You got to live life. Got experience. We got to stop police from killing young men like
that. You learn from your mistakes. They got to make mistakes. We all did it. They're going to learn the hard way or they're going to take our advice.
Yeah.
It's up to us as this generation, this example for this new generation, whatever, Z or whatever they're calling this shit. And I'm all about that because I feel like if you see your daughter fucking, sorry, excuse my language. Man, I feel like my dad is here, bro. My bad. What was I saying? Oh, if your daughter's like twerking or something, you catch her in a room, putting your ass in ballet class. You feel me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you want to be a rapper, but you think it's about fuck this, and I'm sorry again, all that and all this cursing? No, tell a story with it. I'm going to get them into choir. Like I was, like choir. Like, I feel like they should know the roots, Bach and all that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really highly believe in that. Like,
you got to talk to your kids. And,
absolutely.
You guys still respect your mom and dad. You're not going to have your mom and dad. My mom passed away 6 years ago.
Sorry.
I wish every day that she was here, because I was kind of mischievous guy. I was a hard head. I gave her a lot of hard troubles. When I turned into my late 40s, I went to my mom. I said, Ma, I want to apologize for all the stuff that I did, when I was young. I gave her a hard time, but I was just a regular kid. You get rebellious, 14, 15, 16, 17, and you want to get out there. That's just part of life. The parents do it. I tell my daughter luckily, she just came up on her own when me and her mom broke up. She almost, to me, raised herself. She was
How
just
many kids
good
you got,
kid.
Mr. Gordy?
Just one.
Just one?
I would try to have 12 if I could.
I'm about to have my second.
And it doesn't have to be with one person. The Bible's like what I talked about earlier. Be fruitful and multiply, I know people got 5 or 6 kids. My Uncle Barry has 8 kids by about 6 different women. But they're all good kids, all good people.
Absolutely. If you raise
my cousin is Red Food from LMFAO. That's my cousin.
Oh, that's dope.
And they were big, in 2011, 2000 with Sexy and I Know It, Party Rock, Anthem. But he goes all over the world now. It had nothing to do with Motown. But Barry Gordy's his father. Now Barry Gordy, he's like one of those fathers. I don't want to know nothing about you unless you become successful. When you become successful, then I'll get in the picture with you. But go and do, work. Find your calling. Find and be good. I don't care if you a nurse at a hospital or, bus driver. Just be the best at it.
Man, I use
and then your parents will be proud of you. You got to keep in mind the old principles: integrity, honesty, character. Telling the truth, being the right kind of person, respecting women, women. And now when you talk about daughters, okay, a lot of guys, they're scared to death. They were womanizers. They ran the streets, tried to get. Now they got daughters. Yeah. Now the daughter's gonna grow up, and like I said, you want to keep them from being strippers and, hookers and all. But what can you do? You gotta love them. I had a conversation with another guy. I'm not gay and I don't know that much about the gay movement and all that, but they say, what if one of your kids grow up and say, Pop, I'm gay, Dad? What am I going to do? I'm not going to disown him. I'm not going to think, you got to get out. I got a friend who was a preacher. My kid turned gay. I'm kicking him out because the Lord said, yeah, the Lord, I know what the Lord said, but the Lord also
What the Lord said?
love and forgive. I know what the Lord said. I read the Bible. I went through a wild phase, and then I went like 6-8 years in the church studying the Bible.
Right.
And then I got disillusioned with the church that I was in, and I went back into the world. I started doing it, but I kept the principles of what I learned from those 6-8 years from the church. And so, yeah, it says, there's the law, and there's punishment, and there's penalties and all of that. But there's also forgiveness and love, embrace. Your daughter,
Absolutely.
Daddy, I've been a stripper for the last 3 years. I did a couple of porno movies. What am I going to do, baby? I'm not going to look at those, but, hey, you were into drugs, you were into this, that, and the other. Now you've come home. You're the prodigal daughter, the prodigal son, Come on in. Of course, you're going to say the discipline. You're going to say the word. This is the right way to do it, but you've got to learn on your own. I don't want my kids to get killed. I don't want my grandsons to get out here and get killed, get wild. But I know that could have happened to me. I ran with all the kids, getting high, doing drugs, doing all that, and somehow I made it through. A few of my friends didn't. I've had friends just recently. Guy died of cirrhosis of the liver, kidneys failed because he spent his whole life drinking, and he didn't know the stuff. I quit. 10.5 years ago. I knew I didn't want to go to AA. I didn't want to go to 12-step. I don't want to sit around talking to people about my problems. This is about the most that I want to talk to people about my problems. But
we really appreciate you
for
sure, bro.
To hop into music real quick, just one last question. You mentioned your cousin. So how does the conversation go with like your cousin being successful musically now, and then like your nephews and stuff? Like, how does the conversation go? Like, yo, what's up with the collab? Or how does that go? Do you guys collab?
We talk. I don't talk to him a lot. His mom is his manager, so I talk to her. I've given her some ideas, and she'll pass them on to him. Mm-hmm. I'll see him at some family get-togethers. He give me a big hug with that big red hair of his. Hey, cuz, how you doing? He used to invite me when he had a residency at the Marquee at the Cosmopolitan. We got invited every time.
Wow. Okay.
Until some of my younger cousins messed it up and drank all the booze. He said, nobody else come and get it. But I said, don't put me with them. They're younger. But he invites us. We're welcome to a lot of the family gathering. All last year, I went back and forth from Las Vegas to L.A. and Detroit. 5 or 6, 8 different Motown tributes for the 60th. Now, I said, Barry Gordy sold Motown 32 years ago. They're honoring him like he still owns it. That's how powerful, that's how intense you want your work to be. Like I asked you how old you were. The reason I asked you, because you want your legacy 10, 15, 20, 40 years from now to be one. Hey, man, that guy, that music that you did 20 years ago, 40 years ago, we still listen to it. We still, I raised a family on your music. Some of my kids were conceived because of your music. Those type of things. When I hear about stories about Motown music like that. My children were conceived. Smokey Robinson and Marvin Gaye music. Stevie Wonder. That is powerful because we're talking about music, and so like when I was raised in Motown at Hitsville. I wanted to go into film and television and art. I was a natural artist. I used to draw my own comic books from the Marvel comics. And my father used to show them to my uncle, and he said, oh, this kid's a genius. But I still kept some of my comic book drawings from the 1960s, 55 years ago. And the point I'm trying to make is I wanted to travel the world and go to Paris. I wanted to go to Italy. I wanted to go to Europe studying art drawing. You go to the museum, you see the masters, Mona Lisa, Leonardo da Vinci. The music of Motown, 300-500 years from now, they're still going to be talking about Motown. Now, hopefully, some of the good hip-hop will last because it defines our time now. What are you guys? What is your legacy? What are you gonna leave behind? What are people could talk about 20, 30 years from now? That's why I'm saying let it be pure. I told some people, they said, why'd you leave the music business? I said, well, I just got tired of all the phonies and the fakes and the wannabes who thought they were creative. It's like American Idol and one of those singers, and then Simon Cowell, oh my God. And then they get mad. Oh, I can't believe they didn't like me. You know, what reality are you in? You're not good, but the cream rises to the top. My point is saying,
you're not the cream. You're the custard.
Be pure. You know, let the creativity flow.
That's important.
You know, very naturally, and some things will hit, some things will miss. You know, I worked at a 15,000 song catalog for Motown's publishing company, Joe Bet Music. 15,000 song catalog. All of them weren't hits. Some of them were just, album filler. Some of them never made the album. But now that whole catalog is priceless. It's worth, there's probably 15,000 songs.
That's a big jewel.
I guarantee you at least 1,500 songs that are being played somewhere around the world or somewhere in the United States right now.
Right.
You know, even young people. I was surprised. Now, my daughter is like, 22 years younger than me, but I was surprised when she was a little girl at like 15, 16. She said, Daddy, I know who the Four Tops are. I know who the Temptations are.
Right. Isn't that amazing?
See? And so that blew my mind that she was aware. Now, like you said, we're losing the generation of who's Barry Gordy? Huh? Motown, what's that? See, that's grandpa music, great grandpa, No, now the new Motown, they're trying to. The new Motown.
You talking about Little Baby?
Yeah.
You talking about Little Baby?
Yeah, Little Baby. See, see. So they're doing a good job. But in my mind, I was like, they should have hired one of us Gordys to be up in there and try to help them.
Be like, you could pick any one of them Gordys, huh?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Close your eyes
But
and
I
spin
think
around.
I still have a lot of good ideas. A lot of people still call me and ask me my opinion, or want me to consult.
I got
them
that
about
vibe right
stuff,
away,
Yeah.
bro.
But the thing is, I'm just a regular guy too. I worked at Motown on and off for over 20 years. My last gig was 7 years in music publishing, but I also worked at Motown's tape manufacturing company in 1977 when they were doing the transition from 8-track to cassette. And I had my daughter's mother before we got married, and she was one of the women on the assembly line that would spool the 8-track tape on the assembly line. And said, now they started bringing the big machines. They said, we're going to transit. We're getting away from 8-track now. 1977, we're going into cassettes. So then they taught all the women on the line to learn how to spool the cassettes.
I would have gave anything to be Motown's janitor, bro.
Motown janitor,
I'm
all
a
of
big
them.
fan of Motown.
And I
for
guarantee
sure.
you, see, the great thing about Detroit had that work ethic from the auto industry. From the janitor to the people that cleaned the toilets to the women that were the receptionists and the secretary. Everybody was business minded because Detroit was that type of place back then. The women came impeccably dressed as office women. The men never came to the people are dressed like you now, but in the 60s they came dressed suit and tie or suit coat.
I can dig it. I'll be flying the 60s, bro. I could rock that for sure. They had swag.
But they had a different business ethic from, probably learned it because a lot of people work for General Motors, Ford, Chrysler, So, the big auto industry conglomerates, they had a different way of doing it. You clock in, you do your 8 hours, and you clock out. And you do your job. Now, Barry Gordy got that mindset working for Lincoln Mercury at Ford. Clock in, clock out, do your 8 hours, put this leather on these seats, But in his mind, he was creating love songs. And the syncopated beats of the machines, motivated, fueled him, Now, he put that assembly line mentality into Hitsville,
Applied it.
So it was great. But we saw that coming up. Now, it's our turn to do it, but we were like, Motown, we know all about that. We want to do something else. So I was going into art. I was going into film and television. I wanted to draw my own comic books. I wanted to create. I could have been one of the first people 45 years before Black Panther come out with a black superhero. But all of these things were great. But then, like I said, life happens, and you get distracted. You go into a different path. I've worked factories. I've worked hospitals. I've worked warehouses.
What's your favorite job? Or what?
Well, the 7 years I worked at Motown in Hollywood on Sunset and Argyle, 6255 building. Motown had the 16th, 17th, and 18th floor. And so those 3 floors, a lot of business, a lot of activity. 16th floor was music publishing and accounting and bookkeeping. 17th floor was the Motown Records operation.
How many studios did they have in there? Sorry.
We had a studio on the 16th floor. Then Motown had an offset studio on a street called Poinsettia. That was their main studio after they had left Detroit. So all the great recordings in the 70s and the 80s were at the Poinsettia studio. Like I said, the studio in Detroit is now historical museum, almost like a shrine.
I'm really gonna go see that.
You gotta go. You gotta go to Motown Museum.
Put that on the
just type in motownmuseum.org. Motownmuseum.org.
I'm gonna hit your phone. I got your phone. I'm gonna hit you up when I pull up, bro. Show me your city. You feel me?
There's so many things. I had a cousin. I have a cousin. Her name's Sherry Gordy. I'm gonna tell her about this podcast. But I got to give her a shout out.
Shout out Sherry Gordy. Shout out all the
Gordy. She had her own long-running show at the Fiesta Rancho Hotel for 3 years, from 2013 to 2016.
Wow.
And she showcased all the local bands, all the local singers. They said it's not karaoke night. This is semi-professional. But we had a lot of artists. The Dramatics came. Ray Goodman and Brown, Dennis Edwards, before he died, he came to the show. Mary Wilson came. But we had a lot of artists, some of the top bands, Treasure and Dreamstone, a lot of bands here in the city.
You don't know about that, do you? That Treasure and Dreamstone.
Yeah, so
well, let me ask you this.
She had her thing, a live show. Going for 3 years, but we might do something very soon again.
Let me ask you this: what do you see for Vegas being the pandemic and everything like that, with entertainment taking a big hit and everything? Like, what do you foresee? What's gonna happen?
Yeah, with this pandemic, that put everything on hold, which was for the last 5-6 months. I was in quarantine. You were the first guys that really get me out. I've been a hermit.
Yep.
I had to shave my COVID beard.
Appreciate you coming.
I was looking like ZZ Top before I came here today. I had my COVID. I said, "Oh, these young guys want me to come. Man, I gotta get out. I gotta take a shower." I take a shower. I shave. But I've been in quarantine. I've been in isolation for about 5-6 months. I only go out to get groceries and water and stuff like that. And I drove down the strip when they shut off all the lights.
Yeah.
All the lights in the casino. They shut off all the lights in the hotels. Totally dark.
I remember that.
I mean, I said, I got a videotape. So I went up and down the strip, and I videotaped all dark. I said, Las Vegas is an $18 billion a year economy. They said in this 6 months that they've been shut, they lost over $40 billion.
Wow.
See, anything else, all these businesses going out of business. Anybody that didn't really have a solid base as far as money to lay back on, but see, now we're getting ready to come out of it, right?
Oh yeah, we're coming up out of it.
But I think productivity, like you guys inspired me, motivated me so much last night.
Wow.
Because I tell you, I saw some really intense creativity, the productivity that was going on last night. If you guys are doing that every night, or I've been to places where some cats had studios that had 5 and 6 studio rooms, and each one of the studio rooms were going 24 hours a day. 8-hour shifts, but they were kicking out product. See, that's the key. You got to kick out good quality product. See, not just mediocre product. You got to listen to the radio. You got to listen to what's going on in the industry now, what's going on with TV. Like I said, Ariana Grande, Taylor Swift, Pink, Beyonce, Rihanna, Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion. I've been back and forth to L.A. There's a radio station in L.A. that nothing but Drake, 24 hours, Drake all day long. The Drake station,
That's a cold radio station.
Yeah, that's a cold radio.
I might have that sucker on all the time.
And it's cold. And Chris Brown, Lil Wayne, all the, Travis Scott, all these guys, I try to listen to all of them, And but you guys are the next. You're the next generation. You get out there. You just, you are next. They are next. I'm telling you right now. Mark my word.
There you go.
Y'all next. I heard some great things. But just keep producing, keep creating, being very productive. And, but get the books, too. Get the books. This Business of Music, Chief's book, everything you better need to know about the music business. Just go to the bookstore, the library. What's happening? What's the current books? What are they saying? And then read other people's opinion. Like you guys are asking me, what's the climate of the industry? What direction is the industry going? There's people that are even into it more than I am, executives that know the heartbeat, know who all the record executives are, know who all the top producers are.
Do your homework.
I want to give a shout out to a good friend of mine, Vasal Benford.
Shout out Mr. Benford.
Vasal Benford. Look his name up. I don't want. You can go on Google. You can just type in how much are these guys worth. Some of these people worth hundreds of millions of dollars, only because. Yeah, but see,
I can use a little bit of it.
Place where they were doing it for the love of the creativity. They wasn't even about the money. When I was 4, 5, 6, 8 years old, they were coming night and day to the studio because of the love of the creativity. Yeah. It wasn't even about the money. I think the money changed everything. Yeah. Once they started making millions of dollars, all of a sudden everything changed. Now, I got to get the hit record before he does. Yeah, that was my best friend, but no, I got to steal his stuff, So now the money changed everything. When it was pure and it was just the creativity, it was the love. But now they were smart enough and they were wise and mature enough. They were mature enough to say, we got to keep the love. Right. Motown and the Gordy family, Berry Gordy, from what I observed over a 30-year history, they kept the love. Our family used to do family get-together with all the Motown employees, all the Motown artists, family dinners, Christmas, Thanksgiving. But Berry Gordy, he did things like he would say, we've got to have a family and employee, a baseball team.
Bro, we're the next Motown because we do team building stuff too,
because
bro.
It creates unity and camaraderie. He did baseball teams. They did barbecues together,
baseball,
picnics, all kind of family gatherings, So we were around each other. But see, it created like a oneness. Everybody.
It's important.
All the employees, all the artists at Motown, they felt like
team
they
building.
were part of the Gordy family.
Team building.
And they were. And we were a part of all their family. I can go to any of those people's family. Temptations, Four Tops, Stevie Wonder. I'm invited to all their homes for dinner. Anywhere. All
I'm pulling up to
guys
the deep,
that sued Berry Gordy years later,
bro.
I'm invited to their house for dinner.
Man, can you invite me next time,
A
bro?
lot of their daughters are my friends. A lot of their sons are my friends. So
that's amazing, bro.
This is the thing. You gotta care about people. You gotta
absolutely
love
the people around you in your circle. You gotta love and scratch their back when they scratch your back. I believe in that strong heart.
Man, that's
we
powerful.
all strong for real.
That's the key, and that's the key to the magic. That's the key to the magic,
bruh. It works like a well-oiled
young
machine.
people. You gotta create the magic, like Disney.
Absolutely.
You gotta create your own. Motown was Disney in Detroit. Berry Gordy wanted. He loved the golden era of Hollywood.
Right.
All the great artists from the 40s, 50s, Clark Gable and Humphrey Bogart and Judy Garland and Betty Davis. He wanted to recreate that for Detroit, and he did.
He created
Excuse
Empire.
me, I can't hold it no more.
Music.
There you go.
GKid's got
Empire of music.
Yeah, I mean, look at Diana Ross, one of the most glamorous women ever, but he tried to groom and gown. he got women who knew about fashion, that knew about etiquette, knew about dressing and modeling, and knew how to dress men in tuxedos and suits. So you look back at all those pictures from the 1960s and 70s, all impeccably dressed. But it was to show you guys. Now you guys are, blue jeans, but that's the style now.
Yeah.
It's
But
a
if
little
you
bit of
look
a
at
style.
Jay-Z and P.
Yeah,
Diddy, P. Diddy, they'll show up in tuxedos and stuff, and different red carpet
We'll
things.
do that too.
So you got to mix that. You're New York, you're Hollywood, you're Las Vegas, you're Detroit, you're Chicago.
Yes, sir.
You want to hit all those markets. So you want to see what's going on in St. Louis. What's going on in New Orleans? What's going on in Memphis? What's going on in Miami? Take trips around everywhere. Atlanta, Georgia. See what's happening. And like I said, most of the people that are watching this, they kind of already know these things. They're in Atlanta. They're in Salt Lake City. They're in Denver. They're in San Diego. They're making music all over. All the music came out of Oakland, California. Sly and the Family Stone. And then Tony, and then E40, Tupac, So the magic could happen anywhere. Right. We started the magic in Detroit, but then we spread it out all over the country, all over the world. Now there's magic happening in France, Italy, Australia. I get people calling me 3 or 4 in the morning from Germany. Can you talk? You want to talk right now? I said, man, it's 4 in the morning.
Well, I'm in Vegas.
But yeah, they're 9 hours ahead of us,
I mean, in Vegas, someone's
Mr.
up.
Mr. Gordy, so tell us on this final statement, what do you want the people to know? Like, where can they follow you? Where can they stay tapped in? What is the final message to the people?
Well, I'm kind of old school. I'm not really into all the technology, but I am on Facebook, Robert Gordy Jr. I'm on Instagram. But I don't really understand Instagram that much. I'm not on Snapchat.
I still don't get it.
But but Messenger.
Understand.
I have people sending me private messages. 90% of them I don't answer. But it's interesting that people reach out to you. But my Facebook page is wide open. Like everybody else. And I watch the people, they Mr. Gordy. And like I said, well, first of all, I'm not Mr. Gordy.
Oh, no.
To me, only one Mr. Gordy is named Barry Gordy,
Okay.
But call me Robert.
Robert.
Hey,
Okay.
Robert,
Robert.
Rob.
Call him Robert.
Girls call Bobby. Hi, Bobby.
Hey, get him.
But, the thing, just keep doing it. You're young. Like I said, I hate keep talking about how old I am. But, I mean, before you start having medical problems and, older people get diabetes, they get heart their eyes go, I can't really see without my glasses, But while you have your youth, while you have your energy, go for it. Go for it all. I tell my grandson, I would love to, I was working out when I was like 30. I was running track. I was 30 years old. I was living in L.A. I started running track, running a half a mile. Within 3 months, I had gotten up to running 3 miles a day. And I was doing 100, 3 sets of 33 sit-ups. Do your exercise, But then I came down with a terrible lung disease. Same thing that killed Bernie Mac, called sarcoidosis.
Wow.
It attacks your lungs. So I kept thinking it was the dirty air in California. And I had it for like 12 years. Once I moved to Las Vegas, the lung condition disappeared.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I said, so it was L.A. was making me sick.
L.A.
I didn't like L.A.
Vegas
anyway.
was
all
the
the
move.
phonies and the fake. I'm glad to get out of there. Now I'm cured.
That's the message.
But then
Exercise and come to Vegas.
It's cleaner.
But see, the thing, get your health. Like I said, you guys are young. Hey, I drank, I smoked, I did everything.
Yeah.
From the age of 16 to 56.
Okay.
That 40 years.
Moderation.
Now we're out at that. Boom. But now, the last 10 years, I don't drink nothing but purified water and good food. I'm going more closer to vegan, But I'll still have a cheeseburger or whatever, a little lobster, whatever.
Nice bit of
My
wagyu.
point is health, exercise, And just keep doing what you're doing. It's beautiful, and I want to thank you.
I want to thank you
I
too.
want to thank you.
Thank you, man. It was a great
I wanna
blessing.
thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming.
Just met y'all earlier this morning, and here I am tonight.
There you go. That's how we do.
Why not?
So shout out to my cousin Sherry Gordy. Hope I get a chance for her to see it, and all my family, all my cousins in L.A. and Detroit and everywhere. I love you all. I love all my friends, and maybe we'll do if you guys on Facebook. Maybe we can do
Absolutely.
things on Facebook.
There we go. That's
Technology.
it. Cashavelli Music, Las Vegas.
Las
Mug
Vegas.
Talk, man. We out.
Mug Talk.
Cashavelli Music is right here. I don't even think this man needs an introduction, honestly. But we're gonna introduce him right now, live from Cashavelli Studios, Chris Cash. Yeah, we live. Can't hear nothing in my headphones. Can't hear nothing in my headphones. We recording? There we go. There we go. Yeah. Turn my headphones down a little bit, just a little bit. We live? Okay. You already know what it is, man.
Cashavelli Music.
Chris Cash, Cashavelli. Cashavelli. Try to be a baby shark, end up being shark bait. Started naming all these names when you caught a court case. Think that it's a game, you got playing like an arcade. Everything you say, everything you do. Be a baby shark, end up being shark bait. Started naming all these names when you caught a court case. Everybody knows that you's a bitch. Reason why the legends in our culture getting clipped. Quick to pop a fake motherfucker with my AK. Keep on playing, you know my bullets gon' have a play. Keep on buying time, keep a 9 for the layaway. Drum on my single, have you thumping like an 808. Catch me up in Vegas with some real players. Got your bitch in Vegas making real paper. Got Somali and a Megan dad a trainer. Hard body, got the candy on me now later. I'ma get her like an elevator, I'ma lift her up. Charge skin jacket with some alligator slipper. Flow so viral, need some ventilators in the rug. Getting lit while you snitches talk to litigators. Trying to be a baby shark, end up being shark bait. Started naming all these names when you caught a court case. Think that it's a game, you got played like an arcade. Everything you say, everything you do, all fake. Try to be a baby shark, end up being shark bait. Started naming all these names when you caught a court case. Think that it's a game, you got played like an arcade. Everything you say, everything you do, all fake. You ain't a gangster, huh? You ain't a real one. You need to stop frontin' before you get killed, son. You's a clout chaser, I don't want y'all. Just a weenie with some bread, you a corn dog. Cop a lot of snow, got a lot of hoes that'll drop into the flow. If you go against the code, if you do, use a hoe. Piss off, homie, cause you really need to go. Quit swimming with the sharks, you looking like some shark bait. Crush you like granola, you're a parfait. Ponies, you got 8, hit my shit the hard way. Come to Vegas, pimp, slap, bitch, you a palm play. Wanna be a baby shark, end up being shark bait. Started naming all these names, can you get a court case? Think that it's a game, you got played like an arcade. Everything you say, everything you do, all fake. Try to be a baby shark, end up being shark bait. Started naming all these names when you caught a court case. Think that it's a game, you got played like an arcade. Everything you say, everything you do, all fake. Try to be a baby shark, end up being shark bait. Started naming all these names when you caught a court case. Think that it's a game, you got played like an arcade. Everything you say, everything you do, all fake. Woo! Bam, 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 drop the bombs on him. This man, the GOAT right there, Chris Cash, Cashavelli. Hello, Cashavelli, myself, DJ GKid, and we are about to get into this next performer live, all the way live. I love this song.
Thank you.
I love the song.
Appreciate it.
Let's get into it. Nova Bless.
Free bass.
They might catch me on my low faded jeans, rings like Frodo, Billie Jean, pussy loco, stole that girl like broke the broco. They might catch me on my Tada, magic with that whip I papa. Racks from Saint Laurent, no knockoff, YSL that turtle vapa. They might catch me on my payday, do too much how it been lately. Get my chips up dip, wavy rose gold, CLK Mercedes. They might catch me laughing Kiki, over time this shit got easy. More like Brian, who can beat me? Oh that's right, they can't see me go. You a looking at the best, perfection in the flesh. These niggas mad I'm next, heart filled with hate, they just so envious. Come correct, I demand respect. Competition, I ain't seen none yet. Cuban links hang from my neck. Diamond dance, hit that two-step like, hey, who is you kidding? I've been on a mission, I've been getting chicken. The chef in the kitchen, the way that I whip it. Grind is persistent, ayy. Money consistent, ain't chasing these women. They all on my dick, they know that I'm winning. They need it, I got it, I ship it. I keep it on the low, no specific. Saint Laurent cost a nigga a house, no foreigns get the driveway looking like a car show. Don't chase the money, it go where I go. Faded jeans, rings like Frodo, Billy Jean, pussy loco, so that girl I broke the broco. They might catch me on my Tata magic with that whip I pop. Racks on Saint Laurent, no knockoff. YSL that turtle papa. They might catch me on my pig. They do too much, how it been lately. Get my chips up, dip, wavy rose, no see, okay, Mercedes. They might catch me laughing, Kiki. Over time, this shit got easy. Ball like Brian, who can beat me? Oh, that's right. They can't see me. I've been running this shit like Usain. I don't want the fame, I want respect on my name, and I want the change from breaking down them big frames. What you know about it, boss shit? We ain't the same, stay in your lane. It's a dog-eat-dog world. You a small pup to a great dane. My wrist sick, my chick bad. Money big, you big mad. What's new to you? I been had. I take them out cause they step in design and my money is evident. These niggas sad, their life is irrelevant. Pockets filled with them sorrows. All of them dead present. Now they ballin' by accident, walk in the spot. I'm right on the bag, you looking like money. You looking so mad, don't check the price. I'm blind to the tag. Saint Laurent cost a nigga a house, no foreigns get the driveway looking like a car show. Chase the money and go where I go. They might catch me on my low faded jeans, rings like Frodo, Billy Jean, pussy locos, throw that girl I broke the broco. They might catch me on my Tata magic with that whip I pop on. Racks on Saint Laurent, no knockoff. YSL that turtle papa. They might catch me on my pay. They do too much, how it been. Get my chips up, dip, wavy, rose, go see, okay, Mercedes. They might catch me laughing, Kiki. Overtime, this shit got easy. Ball like Brian, who can beat me? Oh, that's right, they can't see me ghost. Let's go, man. Nova Bless. Cashavelli music, man. Bit free bands. Gold burgers, nigga.
Gold burgers, Nova Bless. Free bands. Dope ass track right there. I love that track, man. You got anything else to say?
Nah, you know what I'm saying? Tap in, man. Appreciate y'all for watching Yo Cashavelli Mug Talk. Live performances, man. Stay tapped in all season long. It's just going up from here. You heard? Boom.
Yo, Cashavelli, myself, GKid, and this guy right here, my little brother. He's about to do a performance live right here from the Cashavelli studios. Sidell knows!
Y'all, let's run that.
Feel me? Shout my man Johnny Butler. Come see his phone. Look, just check out the wrist. Just check out the chain. Go grill in my mouth. Johnny dang. Let's check out the wrist. Let's check out the chain. Go grill in my mouth. Johnny dang. Baby, I just hopped off the private jet and I'm looking icy. You might wanna put your shades back on cause I am blinding. I'm about to meet up with my man Johnny Dang in Miami, so I am flying. He just made me a custom chain with all planets aligning. When I go to the shop, I'm going by myself. I secured this bag on my own, so to spend it, I don't need no help. Mr. Dang, can you make this and can you make that? Next I'ma get me a custom Chucky chain to commemorate drug rats. This motherfucker got some weight to it, you just might collapse. Money in the streets back in the day when I make it off these raps. Hey Johnny Dang, I need a cooler. Yeah, you know what? I'll take one of everything on that shelf right there. Wrist, check out this wrist. Chain. Ayy, go grill in my mouth. Ayy, Johnny Dang. But can you check out the wrist? And then check out the chain. Go grill in my mouth. Ayy, Johnny Dang. Whoa. Sit down, no, bitch. Remember, if you want your music to sound crisp and clear, sit down, no,
joint right there.
Thank you, bro.
Dope.
DJ GKid.
I love it.
Yeah, I'll be in my
More
I'll be in my
music
trap,
right
bro.
here. Keep it locked.
No, we're done.